request all of you to please be seated. And very warm welcome for an inspiring event today. My name is Sakshi Mittal and I'll be your host today for the evening. I feel extremely privileged to be given an opportunity to welcome you all today for this really unique ceremony of launching a rather very inspiring book, 100 Great IITians, dedicated to the service of the nation. The book, 100 Great IITians, highlights the contribution of the esteemed IIT alumni who stayed in India or returned in India after their studies, dispelling the notion of brain drain. It showcases success stories across diversified fields, inspiring future generations of engineers, instilling patriotism amongst all of us. This book aims to motivate readers, connect with unsung heroes, and foster a sense of commitment towards India's development. It emphasizes the importance of recognizing and celebrating achievers to propel India towards becoming a fully developed nation as projected by 2047. I feel extremely proud to be a part of this ceremony and welcome you all as we read briefly these stories, their journeys, struggles, vision, and contribution towards India charting out to become the third largest economy in the world. We now welcome Mr. Sorry, one second. I would like to introduce Commander V.K. Jaitly now. A little bit background about him. Commander V.K. Jaitly is a versatile professional with a background in the Indian Navy and corporate world. He is a motivational speaker, consultant, coach, and writer known for his energy and enthusiasm. Graduating from IIT Kharagpur, he has a diversified skill of including technology, leadership, and education. Recognized for his contributions to society and awarded for his distinguished services alumni achievements, actively involved in various advisory boards, collaborations, initiatives promoting youth empowerment, Indo-Russian technology partnerships. He is also an author of multiple articles and books and emphasizes business excellence through people. He also has a strong commitment to education and social service. Sir, we welcome you. Please have a seat.
No, उसी sequence में ये बुलाना शुरू.
जी. We would now like to welcome Mr. Anurag Goyal, Vice Chairman, Pan IIT India. So please have a seat. Professor Ashok Mishra, President of IIT Alumni Center. So please welcome. And lastly, Professor Rishikesh Krishnan, IIT Bangalore. Director, IIT Bangalore. IIM Bangalore.
Hello, check. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is now what?
3:20, 3:25.
22. Okay. Now, many times things happen in a different way what we had thought of. Our chief guest should have been Shri Thaawarchand Gehlot ji, but somehow I got a message that he has got some health issues suddenly, so he will not be able to make it. So I'm very Sorry, we pray for his good health, that he gets well and continues to serve the state of Karnataka as the governor. And we will send a message on behalf of all the people who are sitting here, and we hope that he gets well. Now, it doesn't look that if the chair in the center for the chief guest is empty, so somebody should become the chief guest here. Senior most? Yes. So we have Professor G.S. Murthy ji. Please give a big hand for Professor G.S. Murthy ji. He is a nuclear chemistry professor, scientist, and now the founder chairman of Youth for Nation, which has got chapters all over India in every state. And he at this stage also goes to the all colleges and universities and motivates the youth. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, please give a big hand to Professor G.S. Murthy ji. He is not an IITian, sir. He was in Vijayawada University, nuclear chemistry professor, nuclear scientist, did a lot of research, and now he has been into the social side. He is now 84 years old. So, let's welcome once again Professor G.S. Murthy ji. Sir, please. Thank you, sir.
We would now request the dignitaries to do the lamp lighting.
Yes. Sir.
Thank you, everyone. I now request Commander V.K. Jaitly, sir, to honor our chief guest with Angvastram. To felicitate the guest of honor with the Angvastram, Professor Rishikesh Krishnan, sir. Professor Ashok Mishra, sir. And Shri Anurag Goyal. Can can I request Professor Rishikesh sir to present Angvastram to sir? Having finished the formality of welcoming the dignitaries, I would now request Sir Commander Jaitly sir to please come here and provide a genesis of the much awaited story of how he fathomed the idea of the book and what came out of it, his journey, his experiences, and felicitating all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you, Professor G.S. Murthy ji, for accepting our request to be the chief guest today. And thank you, Professor Rishikesh Krishnan ji, to be the guest of honor. He is a very, very busy man, but he accepted our request. Professor Ashok Mishra has been the stalwart at Mumbai as the president of IIT Alumni Center, the first president, the founder president, which is doing a great job at, let's give a big hand to him. And then Shri Anurag Goyal ji, who came all the way from Delhi just for this event. Please give a big hand. He is from IIT Kanpur, presently the vice chairman of Pan IIT India, and guiding it very nicely. And of course, thanks to all of you who have come here amongst us. And obviously those people, I must convey thanks, who are real stalwarts, whose names were recognized in this book. We have some of them here. And the senior most amongst us is Professor N.S. Mohanji, Captain S. Mohan from the Indian Navy. Senior most. So if you open the book, the first story will be his. We wanted all the stories to happen by the year in which they passed. And obviously there were some stories, same year people had passed, so we did it alphabetically, those 3 names, 4 names for the same year. So that nobody can say, hey, mera naam piche kyun dal diya yaar. Senior most is senior most in the IT circles. Now the question comes how this idea came to my mind. This idea germinated around 10 years back, or maybe 12 years back. I was the founder board of Pan IIT. And I was the head of IIT Kharagpur Alumni Foundation for India, and you can say the surrounding countries also nearby. I was quite involved with the people in various IITs being in Pan IIT, Kanpur, Delhi, Madras, Purane wale jo hai. Let me tell you, I used to feel bad whenever somebody came from USA or from some other country. IITs used to lay a red carpet for them. And people in India are doing excellent job, struggling, doing great in various fields. Somehow unko koi ghas nahi dalta tha. I'm speaking little bit, one bit word of Hindi also in between. I hope it's okay. No problems. Fine. Thank you. So I felt it pinched me. Ki people are doing so well, beautiful, contributing to this country, despite the so-called license raj, despite corruption, despite, very little infrastructure which was there when these people came, passed out in 50s, late 50s, or early 60s, 70s. They took a decision that we will stay back in India. Let me tell you, good number of them took a decision to stay back in India because they felt that they have been educated at the poor taxpayers' money. Majority of them. And yes, there could be a few who came back to look after their parents, mother, father, even that is great. Because they felt they have a duty towards their mother also, to their father also. So they left their cushy jobs in US and came back to India after spending some time or getting some experience. So I thought such people needs to be recognized. So I started making a small diary and started putting some names, And then one day I took a decision. I think the first story, I started working on this somewhere in 2012 or 13. CG K Nair Saab baithe samne, I was in touch with him. He was the first one who said, Jaitly, very good job, excellent, you are doing it. Please give a big hand to him, CG K Nair Saab. I still have his emails in my record. 2012 or 13 sometime. Yes, sir, we will celebrate that, sir. Happy birthday to you, sir. अब आपने बोल ही दिया, सर आपके लिए केक भी मंगवाया हमने, वो लेकिन अभी नहीं मिलेगा, वो हाई टी के साथ मिलेगा. So, there were a good number of people who gave me kudos, ki Jaitly, good job, do it. But then I got into my own, some problem, my daughters were getting married or something, blah, blah, blah. So 4 or 5 years, I just slept over it, you can say. And in fact, somebody questioned me, hey, do you have any experience of writing a book? I said, no, this is going to be my first book. They said, hey, come on, how can you do that? So then I said, okay, let me just keep a break, because this is going to be the book of IITians and all that. So I wrote my own book, We Can, which is a highly motivational book that's also going very nicely, let me tell you. Then there was a demand to translate it into Hindi. So Safalta Ki Udaan with some additions and all that. So I wrote 2 books, and then I started working full ahead on this book during Corona time. Sometime maybe before that, I think 2019 ke aaspas. And then I said, no looking back now. I'm going full ahead. So there were people from the various IITs, directors, deans, I consulted them. Then people mainly who were involved in the Pan IIT, sir, they helped me a lot. Anurag Goelji helped me a lot, let me tell you, in suggesting some names. Great. First 40 names, there was no problem, let me tell you. Let's say people like Nandan Nilekani ji hain, Narayana Murthy ji hain, sir hain, chairman वगैरह कुछ हैं. बहुत लोगों को मैं नहीं जानता था. But then we started with Achal Chaudhary ji ko मैं नहीं जानता था. But then Adimurthy ji ko I didn't know him. So many of them. But then I started, when consulting, I started getting names. And let me tell you, it crossed around 250, 300 ke beech mein somewhere. And then consulting the directors also, deans also to some extent, and those 7, 8 people also. And we started getting the stories from them. We used to correct it, send them back. Sir, is it fine? Okay, God, great. And this is how this book started building up. And finally, I wanted a publisher. Because that time itself, I had decided that I'm not going to keep a single penny of profit out of this book in my pocket. Neither for me, nor for my family. It will go for the social cause. I had taken a decision already. So any publisher you talk, he says, I'll give you 10% royalty. Somebody 15% royalty. One chap agreed to give me, I was saying I need minimum 50% royalty. One chap agreed, but then he was a very, very, thoda chota, I thought he will not be able to do a good job. So I somehow didn't appreciate that. Finally, I got in touch with Sanjay. He is not a typical publisher, let me tell you. He works with the various universities, colleges, and the government departments. And he does a beautiful job and takes full payment, whatever it is. He says, you distribute, you sell, and all that. I felt I had full confidence on the IITians. When the stories of the IITians are there, the book will sell, no problems. So I said, this looks nice. So I spent my personal full money for the printing. Full money, 100%, not the publisher's money. But then he promised me, sir, when you are doing it for such a noble cause and not keeping a single penny of profit in you, let me assure you, I will not keep also any profit out of this for me. I will just take my minimum kharcha and handling charges, etc. I said, great. That is how we had that understanding. And this book is now in front of you, in your hands. You must have seen it. People are really appreciating it, those who have read it and those who have seen it. The get-up is good, excellent, very nice. And I can guarantee you, some professors in IITs who have seen it, they say, hey, my God, excellent material we have got for the induction ceremony of the new batches. Excellent. Excellent material for the new batches. And why new? Even the senior batches also, why not? They didn't have it, now they can. Similarly, the professor, etc., everybody can. In the corporate world also, they can see the stories. And let me tell you, people from different areas are there. We have an IPS officer sitting there, sir, amongst us. We have an IAS officer, but not too many IAS and IPS, only one, let me tell you. Only one. Because they keep getting promotion as such. So I had to be very choosy. There are 3 people who are from the spiritual field. There are 4 people, I think, who are totally fakkad. Fakkad, you understand? Nothing. But they have done a great job in the social area. Great job. If you read the story, you will be thrilled. Wow, my God. And of course, there are corporate leaders also. I will not name any people, those who are sitting here, because they'll be coming on the stage as such, and something will be said about them. But fact remains that all fields have been covered, various fields. We have defense service officers, 8 of them in the book. They are the people from the DRDO and ISRO, etc., those people. So all fields have been covered. And I'm sure whoever has read this book, he has liked it very much. I'm sure you will also like it, whoever buys it. And over a period of time, now I have plans to do something more, which I'll come a bit later. So with that, I think I have given reasonable good genesis of the book. Now it is time for us to, I think, welcome one by one, everybody. Is that the recipients next? Yeah, okay. Take over. What is the yeah, so we'll be inviting them now?
Yes.
उसके बाद speeches है ना?
पहले speech है, then invite.
Okay. ठीक है, inviting the recipients only.
Yes.
Say a few words.
Yes. I think the genesis were very short for us, and we would love to hear from Sir more stories and experiences. Personally, I think for people who are younger and who want to make a contribution to India, it's very inspiring when we read across some of the stories. I just want to also say that I've come from a FICCI international delegation. Morning 6 o'clock I landed, and we had covered some Scandinavian countries. But it was just very inspiring the way people abroad have started looking at India, looking at the mass consumerism that they can garner from us. So thank you, sir, for writing this book. Can I now request Professor Rishikesh Krishnan to address the crowd, please?
Yeah, good evening. Let me first compliment Commander Jaitly for writing this book. I was just thinking when he first told me about this, that when we were all students in IIT, I was in IIT Kanpur, I was in the early 80s, and I remember at that time one of the things we were looking for is stories of people from IIT who had really done well and could be an inspiration for us. We used to hear about all our seniors who had flown away to different countries. But when we looked around in the Indian environment, at that time, there were still not so many people who had really reached that level. Today, we have all the stories in his book. But if you realize around that time, most of the IITs had people out only for about 20 years. Maybe Kharagpur had people for a little longer. But there weren't that many examples of alums, particularly who were doing something very concrete in the industry. There were still people who were doing things in the civil services, defense, and so on. But industry in particular, I remember we used to look for people we could call to our events or call to give a talk in our student activities, and we were always struggling to find some of the alumni. So I would really like to compliment Commander Jaitly for this book. I think it's particularly useful and important that he has focused on IITians who have contributed to India and chose India as their karma bhumi. I think that's very important because that's really what we want to see more of. Of course, as you all know, the situation has changed a bit since the early years of the IITs, in the sense that the number of people who emigrate these days is much lower. I remember in our batch in IIT, maybe about 60-70% of folks left, but whatever I understand from IITs, that's not true today. Of course, we also know that IITians are known primarily for their intellect and their intellectual achievements and abilities. But I think if you look at the people profiled in this book, one thing that comes out very strikingly is how versatile IITians have been. While it's true that a lot of their achievements are driven by their analytical skills, their research skills, their intellectual abilities, a lot of it has also been thanks to their organizational skills and many other skills which one might not have quite expected. One thing I was happy to see in this book, and I think it's my personal good fortune, that I had personally been able to interact with about 12 or 13 of the people in his book. So with your permission, I'm just going to speak one or two sentences about them because I particularly wanted to relate it to this theme of versatility, because that's one thing which struck me when I looked at this book. So the first person whom I know and I've had the good fortune of interacting with is actually the first person in the book, Captain Mohanram. And the interesting thing about Captain Mohanram is the number of different arenas in which he did outstanding work. Of course, he's from the Navy, as his title suggests, but then he also worked in one of India's best shipyards. And after all of that, he went into the private sector, first in some other group which I've forgotten, and then he was in TVS, and he literally turned around TVS Motor into the huge successful company it is today. When you look at all those TVS motorcycles on the road today, Captain Mohanram played a significant role in making TVS Motor what it is today. So you can just see the different range of activities he did across his career. Similarly, another person who's featured in this book, Kota Hari Narayana, again, he was, of course, he's well known as the father of the LCA program. Prior to that, a very distinguished career in HAL. But he has also been one of the important sparks for the civil aircraft design program in India and has contributed significantly to universities. I think in BHU, he was the chair of IIT BHU and in many other roles. So again, really versatile person. The third person I have good acquaintance with in the book is Shiv Kumar, who is a marketing genius. He spent most of his early career in Unilever. Then later on, he was in several multinationals. He's unique in the sense he led both Nokia and PepsiCo in India. And Nokia at the time when Nokia was really expanding its business in mobile phones. Subsequently, he worked in Aditya Birla Group, and today he's a very successful author, speaker, etc. Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, of course, we all know him as chairman of ISRO. But just see, today when the government wants to call somebody to overhaul the entire testing system of the country, who do they finally turn to? They're turning to somebody like Dr. Radhakrishnan to do it. So again, you can see the range of skills which these people bring to the table. Nandan Nilekani, if you look at him, the great thing about him is the number of times he has reinvented himself. Of course, we all know him as one of the co-founders of Infosys. But then, of course, Aadhaar is very much part of our life today. But that's not all, right? He's now come back in Avatar 2 of Infosys. He's also now an AI guru. I mean, you can just see the number of different ways in which he has made contributions. I'm not sure if I counted correctly, but I saw only one lady in the book. I don't know if there's more than one. That lady is also a very interesting person because she's a professor at IIT Madras. And she has focused on an area which normally people don't focus on, which is really making very low-cost, adaptable kind of equipment and supportive equipment for people with disability. She's in fact the designer of a very lightweight, low-cost wheelchair, which is being now used across India, Professor Sujata Srinivasan. In fact, she's a really amazing person just to interact with her for a little while. Another one of the people I had the good fortune of interacting with in the book is Mr. Satish Kaura. He established India's picture tube industry. For a long time, he was IIT Kanpur's, in a way, poster boy for entrepreneurship. And I remember we were all very impressed by him when we were youngsters. And after that, the institute challenged him. They said, look, you have done all this stuff, but what can you do for the institute? So he actually set up a Samtel Picture Display Center right in the campus itself. So that was the way he was also able to give back. Somebody like R. Gopalakrishnan, again, Hindustan Lever, Tata's, today a storyteller and a management guru. Professor Ashok Mishra, who is sitting right here, of course, an outstanding teacher, engineer, etc. But then having graduated from IIT Kanpur, then worked in IIT Delhi, then finally he literally put IIT Bombay on a different platform. Today, if you're looking at IIT Bombay leading the rankings consistently, Professor Ashok Mishra played a key role in laying the platform for that to happen. And then, of course, there are people like Ashok Junjunwala, who is in the book again, person who not only has, of course, excelled in his field, but also showed that IITs can do something which is useful for industry. He was the initiator of the whole wireless in local loop technology program there. He was responsible for seeding a whole lot of startups. Today, he is literally the father of the IIT Madras Research Park, which is a pioneering initiative as far as IITs are concerned. Kiran Seth, again profiled in the book, very different. Perhaps the one person who's really made a difference in the cultural domain as the founder of Spikmake, something that has endured now for 4 decades and has really transformed the cultural landscape in India. And of course, there are others like Chris Gopalakrishnan. Again, beyond Infosys, he's of course been supporting brain research. He's now perhaps the leading evangelist for R&D in industry and academia. People like Sudhir Jain, who's been both an institution builder in IIT Gandhinagar, as well as now a rejuvenator of BHU. So I think, I won't name any more names, but these are the people I had the good fortune to interact with from the list that Commander Jaitly has chosen. And the only thing I can say with confidence is these are all really outstanding people. So again, congratulations, Commander, for choosing some really, really impressive people who can be a source of inspiration for all of us. If I have only one concern, and I think I hinted at that earlier, and probably that's not his fault, that there's only one lady in the group. It also tells us that, the IITs perhaps need to embrace gender diversity in a much bigger way. It's happening. Now there's a supernumerary quota and many other things, but I'm really hoping that 20 years from now, if somebody writes another book, there will be a good number of women represented there. Incidentally, I might also mention to you that another good friend of mine, Rashmi Bansal, who is a serial author, she has written a book featuring eminent women alumni of IIT Bombay. If you get a chance, I forget the name of the book, but I'll try to find some way of circulating it to all of you. If you get a chance, read that book because it's wonderful. It gives you a great picture of women who have excelled from IIT Bombay in particular. So I think I'll just close by saying that I think when we were all younger, when we were students in IIT, at that time the environment was not as supportive as it is today. Today, the environment is certainly better for IITians to work in India. That's why so many of them are staying back. But there's still a lot more to be done, and I hope all of us will be able to contribute to make that happen. And finally, my hope is that with the inspiration of books like this and the great examples we have before us, IITians will rise to the challenge and continue to make significant contributions to the country, and of course, make many of the dreams that we have come true. So again, congratulations and thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you, sir. We now request Shri Anurag Goyal ji to please come on the stage and address the gathering.
Good afternoon from Penn IIT Alumni India. Myself Anurag Goyal, Vice Chairman Penn IIT, as our chairman is in Canada. Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Professor G.S. Murthy, Guest of Honor, Professor Krishnan, my senior from IIT Kanpur, Professor Ashok Mishra. He has been former director of IIT Bombay, and the main person, the king of today, the Dulha of today, V.K. Jaitly, the most energetic, most enthusiastic, and most passionate person Penn IIT have till date. Can I say that? Penn IIT Alumni India was started in 2004 with the blessings of late Abdul Kalam Saab, and he said कि तुम लोग कुछ अच्छा काम करो, देश के लिए करो और सोसाइटी के लिए करो. And that is how we drafted various things, and I am glad to tell you that as of now we are trying to connect 4 lakh IIT alumni with Penn IIT. We are trying to have chapters all over in 23 IITs as well as various cities, various states and all. Number of initiatives which we have already done and are doing well in social service includes Parfi, Wheels and so many other things. And it has been fortunate for me to be here. Ki Jaitly ji, our old friend, asked me to come over. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. We request Professor Ashok Mishra, sir.
Professor Rishikesha Krishnan, Professor Murthy, Commander Jaitly, Anurag Goyal, and very distinguished guests. Some of you are such distinguished alumni of IIT that I know some of you, but I'm sure they have done great things. The IIT Alumni Center, Bengaluru, is very glad and delighted that for having Governor Jaitly inviting us to be part of this excellent program for the launch of the book of 100 IITians who have made a difference in the country. IIT alumni, as you know, have played an enormous role in India as well as the world over. If you look at the USA, the number of CEOs in several companies is like in 30, 40, some very large number. Lots of chancellors and presidents of universities are from the IIT system. I'm not even counting the deans, that number is very, very large. But they've made a lot of difference in India also. The contributions that they have done, let us say in the nation, has brought laurels to the IITs and to India. I'll enumerate a little bit of that. We are very proud of their achievements, the alumni, IIT alumni achievements. They have been leaders in the corporate world. They have been leaders in academic institutions. They have been leaders in research, development, and the social sector, as Governor Jaitly had also mentioned. The kind of contribution that they have made is much, much larger than what we see in this book. IIT is probably one of the few well-recognized international brand names, especially in the arena of higher technical education the world over. And we all know that. So this is the first brand name which actually, as Professor Menon used to say, which has gone out of India into the world, IIT Alumni. There are lots of stories where people went to some remote places in Scandinavia, checking in the hotel at night, and the guy asked him, "Are you from IIT?" So this is the kind of spread of the name of IIT which had gone around in the world. Governor Jaitly has done an excellent job in coming up with 100 names, as he mentioned. It is not an easy task. For those 100 who have made a difference in India by either coming back early after finishing their studies and working a little bit in the States. I did my PhD and I worked for about 2.5 years and then came back to teaching at IIT Delhi in India. Similarly, several of my friends, see what happens is that people count the number of people, as Rishikesh said, going abroad, but they don't count the number of people who come back. They come back in trickles, but they made a fair bit of difference in the country. I was one of the first few IIT alumni, and I'm very proud of that, to become a director. The first one was the director of IIT Guwahati, but I was the first alumnus of any IIT to become a director in the major 5 IITs. And today, if you look, lots of IITs have alumni who are the directors, and they are making a difference. I'd just like to point out that on stage, and I'm from IIT Kanpur, I'm an alumnus of IIT Kanpur. On the stage, we have Anurag Goyal from IIT Kanpur, and Rishikesha Krishnan from IIT Kanpur. So IIT Kanpur ka tempo high hai. So if Governor Jaitly starts working on this, there will be another 100, another 200 people in India, and I can already think of at least 40, 50 who may have missed the boat, if I may use the word, this time, who have done equally excellent work for taking the nation forward. One of the areas which was mentioned was the DRDO and ISRO. In my time, there were people, my class fellows and my seniors and some juniors, actually joined organizations like ISRO. Today, when the people graduate, of course, one was to go abroad, but they are not joining organizations like ISRO. If somebody joins ISRO, the neighbors say, कि इसको कोई और job नहीं मिला था क्या, तो ISRO में चला गया. My class fellows went to Steel Authority and made a difference in the steel making of the country, taking the steel making to a higher level. All those things have gone. So now we have to see who has made a difference in ISRO. Dr. Radhakrishnan's name was mentioned, Dr. Sivam, and recently Somnath has just got a PhD from IIT Madras. Several people from there with interaction programs between ISRO and the IITs have actually gone back to the IITs and did PhD and come back, and therefore they're alumni in a different manner. Not the BTech alumni, but they have made a huge difference, and we know what ISRO has achieved. Similar is the case with BARC. Similar is the case with lots of DRDO organizations. So therefore, we have to also look at what all difference people have made in a large sense. If you go to ISRO or BARC or ADA in those days, lots of people who are working were either MTech or PhDs from the IIT system, including Kota Hari Narayan. Now coming back to Bangalore or Bengaluru, we, the IIT alumni in Bengaluru, thought that we should make some sort of a difference in the country through another mode of interactions. So we established the IIT Alumni Center Bengaluru, for short IIT ACB. Those of you who are not familiar, if you just go to the website, do iitacb.org and you will see all the details, and we'd be delighted if you actually become a member. So this is we have established this so that alumni can establish a forum through which they can make contributions to the industry and in turn give back to the country in a different manner. Not donations, but if we can do something to enhance the research and development in the industry through the IIT system. So our aim is to create a community that will act as a nodal agency for interaction between the various IITs and the industry, as well as interface with the government on behalf of the IIT system. And we have had some initial success in this, and we are going forward. We now have our own building. We are the first brick and mortar building of any IIT Alumni Center. We made it ourselves by raising money from the IITs who are now partners with us, as well as from the alumni. So we now have a building which is about a 93,000 square feet building in the Bomasandra area with state-of-the-art facilities. Everything is ready except for the auditorium, which is in process, and within a month that will be ready again, state-of-the-art auditorium that we will have. And we are working towards making our mission, which is to enhance the interaction between the IITs and the industry as well as the government. So things are going to happen as we move along. All the 23 IITs, we have 23 IITs now, so all the 23 IITs have their extension offices in our building, and they can use this to attract industry, small scale, medium scale, large scale, to their campuses to solve their problems, so that IITs can solve their problems. We have had some initial success on it, and we are moving forward. As I mentioned, we are the only IIT Alumni Center of this kind, which is unique, with our own building, which is based in Bengaluru. And the other good thing is that there's no IIT in Bengaluru, so there was no clash in that sense. So all the IITians come together and work as a family and as a very good team. So before I finish, I'd like to invite the IIT alumni here, pass on the message to you, to your friends, to your WhatsApp groups and so on, to go to the website, see iitacb.org, and especially those of you who are in Bengaluru, become a member, and more important than that, to contribute to our mission so that we can achieve what we have set out to do. My heartiest congratulations to all the fellow IITians who have been mentioned in this book. We would be awarded as one of the 100 IITians, and everybody who learns about it is very thrilled. And my friends and my family is also very thrilled that I am one of those 100, and similarly those who are awardees, their families would be very thrilled. So congratulations to you, and thank you so much. Please enjoy the evening as we move along.
Thank you, sir.
And Jai Hind.
Professor Krishnan mentioned that in this book there is only one girl, one lady. Yes, because when we were in IIT Kharagpur, almost 3,000 students, only 60 girls. Professor Captain Mohan जब थे शायद एक भी लड़की नहीं होगी उस टाइम पे. Am I right? So that was the reason the number of girls was very, very less. However, sir, for your information and everybody, the next book in the pipeline is 100 Great Women from IITs. And another next book which sir said that there are at least 50, he himself knows, who are almost at par with the people who have been figured. So the sequel 2, the volume 2 of this will also come, those who stayed back in India, another 100. Now when we are doing all this, our friends who went abroad, he says, Baba, hum bhi kuch karte hain. तो हमने कहा चलो 100 global IITians का भी book निकाल देंगे. So उसमें people like Sundar Pichai etc. will also come. They don't come in such books, but they will come 100 global great IITians. And another one in the pipeline is, the professors from IITs who made IITs what they are. 100 great professors from IITs who produced such people who made such a big brand. It is the only brand in the world today probably. The only brand in the world from India is the IIT brand. Am I right, sir? I said that. Yes, you said that. Yes. So, the professors who made it happen, unki stories bhi, 100 of them will come out. It may take 2, 3 years, 4 years maybe, but the work has already started parallelly now on these things now. Now, I think the time has come. Are we ready with the books? Please, let's do the formal launching of the book. Please give one book each to the dignitaries on the dais. Carry it. Yes, please. Instead of wrapping it, we have put it in small boxes and you just slide it out. That's all. And there's a ribbon on top also, yes. And give me one. Yes. And the publisher is here, Sanjay. Please give a big hand to Sanjay also. And here the photographer. Now the time has come to invite the greats who are here amongst us, and I shall invite one by one all of them. So the senior most, please, anything, sir? Okay. Captain N.S. Mohanram. Sir, again we are inviting the stalwarts in the order of year in which they passed. So first we have Captain N.S. Mohanram, sir. Please give a big hand to him. 58 pass out, naval architecture, turned down the MIT Boston and joined the Indian Navy. And here is INS Godavari. He has contributed a lot in its design. And then, of course, in the corporate world, he put on so many hats, including the TVS scooty designing and all that. Sir, please. Sir, kindly present. Professor Murthy ji ka boल दीजिए सर, लगवाएंगे. Thank you. Sir, there is no problem. Can I say a few words? Yes, sir, you can say a few words, sir. And kindly, sir. Please, sir.
Professor J.S. Murthy, Director IIM Bangalore, Professor Rishikesha Krishnan, Professor Misra, Ms. Anurag Goyal, and the indefatigable Commander V.K. Jaitly, fellow IITians, ladies and gentlemen. I'm humbled and honored to be part of this book release function. 71 years ago, a lanky, nervous 17-year-old set foot in the huge but largely empty campus of IIT Kharagpur. He never imagined that the IIT will become a global brand and feature in a book like this. I was from the third batch of IIT Kharagpur, which started in 1951. Bombay followed in 1956, and others followed in the 60s and so on. All our classes were held in the old Jaitly jail building. Sadly, there are no lady students. And there's only one hostel, and the second was under construction. Our faculty was drawn from all over the world, courtesy UNESCO. Probably we had the finest faculty of any IIT at any time. Life was tough to start with, but we had fantastic quality of education. Unlike later IITs, Kharagpur is not close to a city. Except for the world's longest railway platform, a rather dubious distinction, Kharagpur had nothing to offer. We had to make our own entertainment, create our own little world. It was Atmanirbhar at work. We had great education and a fantastic time. We had no idea at that time that we are helping to create an iconic institution which will bring name and fame to our nation. In Robert Frost's great poem, Road Not Taken, a traveler opts to travel for the road, 5 minutes?
Yes, 2 minutes.
For the road less traveled by. I opted to go to IIT rather than a local college in Coimbatore. I opted to join the Navy rather than go abroad. I think it was the best decision I made. Because where would I had, at the age of 35, to design India's missile frigate? Where would I get a chance to do the double-wall piping at the atomic power station at Kalpakkam? Where would I get a chance to design the TVS scooty, which millions of people use? And strangely enough, the total weight of scooties were more than the weight of the frigates. And IIT built me, Navy molded me. At a great time in my career, I owe it all to my wonderful wife, Vijaya Mohanram, who supported me throughout life, despite her busy civil service career. Let me end by paying a sincere tribute to thousands of IITians not mentioned in any books, but had served India in factories, mines, design offices, built dams, ports, and helped to build modern India. The 100 in the book are only a microcosm of what IITs and other fine institutions in India stand for. We owe them a debt of gratitude. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir.
I left it there.
He'll bring it, sir. हाथ पकड़ के साथ. Sir, next we have Shri OP Khanna ji. 61, again IIT Kharagpur, the man behind the Needy Heart Foundation. Anybody, poor person who has got a problem with the heart, cardiac surgery, etc., just give a call to Shri OP Khanna ji and he will help you out. And of course, he was a great man in the industry. Sir, please, OP Khanna ji.
When I met yesterday Commander Jaitly, he mentioned you will be given 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes to speak. So I am not going to repeat anything what is there in the book. Friends, the first IIT started in 1950, and now there are 23 IITs all over India. In these 70 odd years, these IITs have produced lakhs of people. I think the figure was given, it's over 4 lakhs. To select 100 out of these 4 lakhs or 4 lakhs plus would have been a Herculean task by Commander Jaitly, who edited the book. My hearty appreciation for the excellent work done, sir. This book covers not only the industrial lords or the industrial sector, which normally come to mind because most of the people who passed out from IITs are engineers. It covers the defense sector, the IT sector, the academics, and very strangely, the spiritualism. There are a couple of IITians who have done very good in the spiritual field, and of course the NGOs, which I represent. I think I will end with congratulating Commander Jaitly once again, and I repeat that I am very happy to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we have Shri CGK Nair ji. 64 batch IIT Madras, ex-CMD Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand to him. And the man behind the Tejas, which is being exported now from India. There was a time when people didn't believe that the Indians can make fighter aircraft also. We made it, and credit goes to Sir.
Distinguished personalities on the dais, off the dais. First of all, I would like to join all of you to congratulate Commander Jaitly for the wonderful work accomplished by him, and also wish him all the best for the new books he has promised to write. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
It's a great wish.
I will need your help, sir, and everybody's help.
It will be
Mr.
there.
Steve. Yes, sir.
Since a brief has been written in the book, and also he has highlighted the light combat aircraft, you can see Kota Narayana and Abdul Kalam, all of them there. I will tell you something else. When I decided to not to accept the job in Canada, and also afterwards the Canadian professor thought that maybe I wanted to go to United States, he wrote and I got a job in the University of California also as assistant professor. But I said no. I had already made up my mind to go back and work in India. So they wished me good luck and I came and finally decided to join HAL instead of ISRO. And a lot of friends told me, if you join ISRO, possibly you will stick. If you join HAL, I tell you within 2 years you will go back, either to USA or Canada. So I told my wife, look, this is the comments. But I have come to HAL because I wanted to start work right away. I don't want to continue research. So there is an offer of designing and developing. So much is talked about LCA, but I'll tell about the story of the helicopter. I said, I want to start design. And they offered me job in the helicopter design. New helicopter India wants to make its own, by its own. So that was the beginning. I said, I will stay. I will, whatever happens next 4 years, we will not think of going back. We will stay put and try to achieve. The first job assigned to me by the chairman of the company, OP Mehra, Air Marshal OP Mehra, who later became Chief of Air Force, was, look, we are importing everything, Dr. Nair. We are assembling. There was a time India used to design and build aircraft. Now we are doing mostly licensed production, and we want to, we are not making things here. We are importing everything. Stop that. So I started right earnest way, develop things which we are importing for a helicopter. Nobody wants to buy it. Why? The cost is too low. Because India was at that time working under cost plus concept. Whatever you produce, the government audit will come and say how much manpower, how much material, whatever you have used, whether you have wasted or not, whatever is consumed. And that will be added and the price will be fixed and payment will be made, a profit percentage will come. So HAL was working in that, so nobody wanted to buy what is made in India. So I went back to the chairman and told, see, this is the second year I am here, we have done so many things, but nobody wants to buy. I am thinking of going back. He said, no, don't go back. This is a test for you. You have come with a vision, you told me in the beginning, you want to contribute to India. This is you don't think about what others. We will get an opportunity, you will come to a position when you will be able to make your own rules. Immediately transferred me to corporate office, set up a development department directly under the chairman. That was the turning point. I could go all over India to all the HLs and tell them on behalf of the chairman, you damn well buy what is made in India, whether it is low cost or higher cost. And that worked, and we went on. Our cost plus, then when I became managing director, I could change the rule and tell the government and get freedom from the cost plus. I had to tell them HAL as intrinsically sick company. Nobody knows about it. I'm just stopping it now. So government said, I'm going to stop this cost plus. They said, union will kill you. I said, no, I have already talked to the union. We want to do a genuine work. We are all wanting to contribute to India. We want to be world competitive. For that, allow us to negotiate price, give us, after that don't come and audit. Finally, they gave us 2 years to prove that it will work. Union will not kill me. But that happened. We produced and we gave back. Instead of getting bonus money from government and distributing, we made profit and we gave bonus first time to the shareholder. And that continues. That made me stay. The other ambition I could do, and the helicopter, that is what, no picture is there on this. India has produced the world's top world record holder helicopter. Many of you do not know that because very, very low publicity. The advanced light helicopter with the latest technology, it was developed totally indigenously and with materials produced in India, equipments produced in India, and now even the engine designed and built in collaboration. It is also Indian made. And that helicopter was the only helicopter which could go, which could be flown by our Air Force and rescue the people who were marooned because of the tragedy in Uttaranchal. Yeah. No other helicopter could fly at that altitude under that kind of a severe storm and rain. And we received for the world record for flying at that altitude under very difficult conditions. Both the Air Force pilots and HAL was awarded by the World Helicopter Society. That people should know. That is what made me feel very happy. And now we have made so many new helicopters. India is making its own fighter helicopter, combat helicopter, reconnaissance helicopter. These are, I keep on telling my successors, you should publicize it, people should know. But HAL is still very shy, for publishing. And now, and HAL also started making, exporting during my time. We were not allowed to make anything other than fighter aircraft. Right? So we can make civil aircraft parts and export. So we started doing it for Boeing, Airbus, etc. Another thing was that join with all the private companies, small scale industries, and make them so that India, it is not HAL, it is Indian aeronautics. So let us have private sector involved. That was another great thing which I feel very happy. All this happened because of teamwork and the grace of God. Nothing is because we have got a determination. And I still remember the advice given by Group Captain Keshu, who was my immediate boss, and the then Chairman, Air Marshal OP Mehra. Don't break your head seeing obstacles. Wherever you can go around it, you go around. Keep direction right. Don't go back. That is what I always did. And I still feel very happy. Thank you very much.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir came specially from Kerala today for this event. Please give a big hand to him, sir. And now we have Shri Satish Manocha ji. Sir, the telecom pioneer in India. And here he is sitting with the Crown Prince of Denmark, who was in the news recently, who became the king, I think now. So he is sitting with him. So such a big man. And then us time ki telecom minister, Satish Manocha ji. Sir, welcome, sir. This is the indication for the next person to get ready.
Very good afternoon. Lovely facing the most learned and the most experienced on the dais and in front. My Shastang Pranam to all. Especially the most learned, I'm the least one out of them. My journey started long back in Delhi, IIT, 1961. Oh, let me not talk from what's in the book. Interesting was, in 1960, the husband of the Queen, inaugurated the Delhi campus. But the campus first batch, which I joined, was in August 1961. That's how the campuses in the first 5 IITs started. Kharagpur, Bombay, Madras, Kanpur, then Delhi. After that, I think there was a gap of almost 20 years.
Yes.
But anyway, what I learned was in the campus, mostly British faculty after first year. First year is common to all branches. The tie-up in Delhi was with the British government and Imperial College. Professor John Brown, the world-known expert in microwave, I had one course with him, and then he invited me for summer course, which was meant for faculty of IITs, 5 IITs and ISC. And I was supposed to be helping them in microwave setup in the labs, in the afternoons. This kind of faculty with one-to-one interaction was the best. Just 102 students in our 4 branches. 2 were Indians whose mother didn't want them to go to their father in US and UK. And third one was from Iraq. Very interesting. What I learned is high discipline, punctuality, being before time when you are asked to come for any work. Interesting was in the final year, I had finished my project one day before Holi season. We celebrated Holi in Professor Indreshan's house, and he had invited all the British faculty and their spouses. Very interesting. So 2 of our students, me and my batchmate, we told Professor Indreshan after the Idli Vada, can you come and see our project work we have completed for defense. The first transistors made in Delhi, CDIL, few thousand, with 2 wafers, Professor Indreshan allowed us to buy and convert to transistor in their factory in Delhi, CDIL. And he says, oh, say, okay. He took his bicycle. I said, the lab will be closed, it's a holiday. So we have to run faster than his bicycle. Professor P.V. Indreshan, later on, Director Madras and lifelong my guide and mentor. One day before he passed away in Pune, I had by chance met him. Anyway, look at one-to-one interaction. Can't forget such guides. Luckily, I had British professors as my guide in US 2 times. And all the time invited for dinner because I was the least person talking, and now I'm maximum talker. Anyway, working in India was a dream, although with a few months in Bell Labs in New Jersey, and that was a dream fulfilled. And when I came to India, 1 year I was teaching MTech classes in Roorkee, which was part of the UP government, today is IIT. Then there was an ad for IIT, ITI. I am changing. IIT becomes ITI for Bangalore and other campuses, and for Bharat Electronics. So I was selected for ITI to start new R&D in Nani industrial area of Allahabad. So I started from the lowest level, reached the highest level, and last 30 years I'm in Bangalore. Last 10 years of my working in ITI was in R&D Bangalore and as a director and then as CMD. What I learned was from my experience in US and in India was what my time common popular song of Beatles, 8 days a week, I think my age people will remember, 8 days a week. So we actually work 8 days a week, never less than 12 hours for 6 days, 2-3 hours on holiday, but not as much as our Dr. CJ Kenai sitting here. He works 4 days a week, 5 days a week, even today. HAL has given him 2 buildings. It was so nice seeing such stalwarts in our group here, sitting here. Going up the ladder and career was sometime a shock, and sometime a shock because I made a double jump in my promotion, which is rare in a public sector. It did happen, and my senior became junior one day, and then I got kicked up in the ladder to Bangalore from north to south. The lucky was being member of three-member team, and I was very junior as a, you call it, manager in the lab in Allahabad, and chairman simply called from Bangalore to change the structure of the board. The only third person was Kanpur IIT director, Professor Sampath. So 3 of us. He says, I got cabinet approval to change the structure, otherwise you'll not get promotion. My God. I said, what am I supposed to do? There are 2 general managers sitting in Bangalore in R&D. They work only 8 hours a day. You guys work 12 hours a day in Allahabad. I said, we have mostly youngsters from IITs, and in those days it was called RECs. But in Bangalore, those guys in R&D started in 1950. 48, the factory started in Bangalore IIT. He says, no, they don't work more than 8 hours, 1 minute. I said, okay, sir, what am I to do? You contribute. You are equal member, and in 3 days' time, I am getting cabinet approval. That was the CMD, KPP Nambiar, who created a lot of things in Kerala. I think many people know his name, KPP Nambiar. He worked for 1 year in Delhi IIT, I don't remember then, but then he created many industries. Lucky to be going up the ladder, as I said, sometime as a shock when my equal or senior becomes junior next day. But dynamic change brought, due to the advice from the top level, I felt need of higher equity for the company, which had only 81 or 88 crores and brought 200 crores from other public sector when I was CMD. That is one of the good achievement. But lesson for forward is taking forward the next generation. One lesson, when I was given a Distinguished Alumni Award in Delhi by the then director in Delhi on a special function, that there was a youngster sitting, final year students, and one of them asked a question, what is the use of our learning so much depth? They should teach only software languages. I said, your question is fantastic. I'm the only one on the stage asked. I said, you remember thermodynamics first year? No, we didn't. If you are in electronics, do you know what chips and how they are made? No. We were taught, but we don't want to know. I said, 5 years after you go into an industry and your colleague gets a promotion, you don't get. You'll have to go for master's degree, but you'll have to go for a doctorate after 10 years after leaving. And this is not fair that just software is taught. Today's generation, I'll say the same thing. I'm talking of long back when Distinguished alumnus I was called, and this is one advice I said, you'll have to keep learning, and whether it's new future language for network or other things. Second thing is, technology and human needs need equal attention anytime, whether you are in industry or in a lab. Both are equally important, being human also.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Rear Admiral R.M. Bhatia ji. Please give a big hand. The warship and submarine builder of India. He was in MDL, and of course, a number of warship designing, etc., those things. He did it for the Indian Navy, and people remember him even today. So,
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Murthy sir, Krishnan sir, Mishra ji, Anurag ji is not in chair now. Well, thank you very much for having me here, and I'm really very humbled being part of this 100 which Jaitly sir and his team have selected. Let me quickly, because I've got 2 minutes, I just requested Commander Jaitly, I said, I think fellow naval officer, give me half a minute extra, because I think my senior Manocha sir took away a lot of my time. Anyway, coming to serious note, you see, I am from a generation of IITians, IIT Delhi, 1967 batch, so that means 1962, I put my foot in IIT Delhi, when the last stop to go to IIT Delhi was at Hauskhas. And with sun setting, I had walked down to this campus, which was not yet a campus. There was only one textile block, single-storied building where I went, and next day was the interview, and all the Britishers were in the chair, and one senior-most was Professor Rumford. He was from chemical, I wanted mechanical. So his first question, now he had some issue with his, he was a little old. Firstly, he was a Scottish, and secondly, he didn't have teeth. So he did some pup, I couldn't understand. I just kept saying, thank you, sir, got it, sir. He said, mechanical okay? I said, yes, sir. So that is how I joined the mechanical branch, 62 MA6, 1962. Now, my journey started there. We have been, in fact, all in the learned chair here have been speaking about the brand name of IIT. I must tell you, that time, frankly, we didn't know what is IIT, what is brand name. We were absolutely raw. We were a generation of logarithm tables. The slide rules had just come, and we would use that Aristo Studio slide rule. Then again check the calculations by hand or by logs. Then subsequently, by the time we went, there was no computer, of course. Calculators came, but were not permitted to be used. We didn't have a computer center. So by the time I was in my third year, we had to buy time from Indian Council of Agriculture Research at Pusa and go there and go as if we are going for a major surgery as a surgeon, put on all kinds of clothing, etc. And then you know what it was, miles and miles of printouts coming and the Fortran language and all that. Well, but the great experience there was our faculty. Our faculty was all British. In fact, one-to-one, as Manocha sir said, all professors for us were British. We did because college was new, we were the second batch. And then, of course, during the fourth year, I got selected into the Navy and suddenly started getting pay from the Navy. And fifth year, of course, I spent there, completed my engineering, and then my journey, next phase started, which is the Indian Navy. Not knowing anything, absolutely raw, not from the coastal area, coming straight from Chandigarh, born in Lahore before partition. And I must tell the next generation and also those who are around here, you see, our generation was the generation which was immediately after the partition of India. And India was struggling. So were all our parents were struggling. Every individual was struggling just for 2 meals a day. That's the time when these schools were not there. My first school started in Chandigarh, which is such a modern city, under the mango trees. And, but then as the country progressed, we got in, and subsequently, of course, rest is history. Journey was very interesting. I joined the Navy, and I must now pay regards to my school teachers who made our fundamentals correct, and then the IIT teachers, IIT professors, whose main thing was that fundamentals. You should be able to take on a challenge and solve anything. Don't get scared, just press on regardless, step by step. So that is what we followed in our life. And my first challenge came at the age of 23 or 24 when 2 Egyptian submarines knocked at the doors of Bombay, at Bombay Dockyard, without any notice. And they wanted a refit because they were having that war going on. And my commanding officer in Visakhapatnam, that time late Commander Mukundan, he called me, he says, son, Bombay cannot do it. We are at Vizag. Vizag is a very new place, but you are young, you have just come from a good college, you take on this responsibility. And without even knowing that time, I had just served INS Vikrant, our aircraft carrier, and INS Mysore, the destroyer. I didn't have any experience, but we took it on, and I must say, in 2.5 years, we got those 2 submarines and 1 parent ship operational, and they sailed back to Egypt. Time is running out. I've been fully involved with, now just quickly, very tough appointments. Visakhapatnam, then subsequently I got married. My dear wife Bala is here. We got posted to Siberia in Russia. 2.5, 3 years there. We were doing major refits of our first submarine. Subsequently came back, given responsibility of setting up facilities for repairs in India. We did that, just half a minute, sir. And then moved on, took on a ship, and 71 war. Responsibility on the west coast because of submarines and frigates, and responsibility on the east coast, same thing for both. At the age of 23, 24, you are rubbing with the enemy. I think it was pretty tough. And subsequently, of course, gas turbine ships, the frigates, the destroyers, the nuclear submarines, and then I was posted to Korea. I did 3 years there for getting our new type of ships, offshore patrol vessels. And subsequently, of course, I became Director General of Naval Projects, doing special projects for nuclear submarines, setting up their facilities. And then opportunity came and I took over as Chairman and Managing Director of Hindustan Shipyard at Visakhapatnam. 6 years there, and then I was selected for Chairman Managing Director of Mazagon Docks. I did 3 years there, building submarines of French origin. By then, we were doing German ships. I was actually a Russian specialist. So that all happened, and then I retired from the public sector, and I did 14 years with the private sector to set up a world-class facility.
Sir, if you tell the full story, they'll not buy the book.
Yeah. So I know. In fact, what Commander Jaitly is saying, same thing my wife also told. You don't go on and on. So I said, anyway, so that is it. And thank you so much. And I thank Commander Jaitly and for having my name in there. Most grateful. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you, sir. God bless. We are jumping the sequence. Dr. Mahesh Gupta ji, please, sir. महेश गुप्ता जी को फ्लाइट पकड़नी है दिल्ली की. दिल्ली से आया महेश जी. The waterman of India, please give a big hand to him. I know आप में से अधिकतर लोगों के घर में कैंट आरओ सिस्टम होगा. महेश गुप्ता जी इनकी फैक्ट्री में बनता है. Please, sir. Mahesh Gupta ji is 75, mechanical, BTech honors, IIT Kanpur. A very humble man, and I have met him a number of times, and always cheerful, always smiling. IIT Kanpur wale, IIT Kanpur ka tempo. एक बार और.
dignitaries on the dais and fellow IITians. First of all, I like to compliment and pay regards to Commander Jaitly, who has done a wonderful job of selecting 100 people. I am one of the 4 lakh alumni. I don't know how did I come into these hundreds, but that's his choice. I'll put it like that. And to begin my journey, I like to thank to be admitted into IIT. I have done graduation from there. If I wouldn't have been in IIT, the joint entrance was not so tough at that time, so I could get in there. But it's really very, very tough today. But having come into IIT, I decided to stay back in India and went into a public sector, Indian Oil Corporation, 10-year service. Then I decided to do a startup. You can imagine at the young age, and that too working for 10 years, I did a startup, and I did on petroleum conservation for 10 years. And I suddenly come into water. Oil and water don't mix, but it has mixed in my life. I still continue to work on oil conservation, but this business has become bigger. And this business has become bigger not because of my work, but because the water is getting contaminated. It's causing serious diseases, and that provided me an opportunity to work in this area. And I think we need to look into these aspects. The future is looking very bleak. The climate change is causing a lot of damage to us. If whatever technologies we all may build, but if we are not going to be there, if our children are not going to inherit an earth which is better than what we had inherited, I don't think we have a future in ourselves. So I think let's all continue to work in that direction. And I once again thank Commander Jaitly for a wonderful work you have done, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'll just leave it now, with your permission. Thank you.
फोटोग्राफ ग्रुप फोटो चाहिए थी अपने साथ की
अभी
बाद में जब सबका हो जाएगा 15 मिनट में. Now we have Professor Ashok Mishra sir, who is on the stage already. Kindly present the memento and the book. Ashok Mishra is 68, chemical, BTech, IIT Kanpur, an educationist, administrator, engineer, polymer scientist, and of course, the founder, president of IIT Alumni Center at Bangalore. Please give a big hand. Thank you, sir. Please. Next one. Please, sir.
I am deeply honored and humbled, as somebody also mentioned, to be counted amongst the first 100 IITians that Commander Jaitly selected, and those who have made a significant contribution to India's growth story. My journey began with IIT Kanpur. I did my BTech there, as was mentioned. After that, I went to the States, did my PhD, and then worked for a company by the name of Monsanto Chemical Company. Later on, it got into agriculture, chemicals, and all that. By that time, it was a polymer-based company. And then after working for almost a little less than 3 years, I came back to join IIT Delhi as a faculty member. Just want to mention only one small thing, that when I took up this job and my boss asked me, what are you going to make in India? The salary I would make at IIT Delhi would be a fraction of the increment I got at Monsanto. But the challenge to come back and work in India was good. So my journey with the IIT system, IIT Kanpur BTech, faculty at IIT Delhi, and then I was given the leadership roles. I was a director of IIT Bombay, chairman IIT Roorkee, and then chairman of the standing committee of the IIT Council. So I had a very comprehensive view of the IIT system, and these experiences made me understand the IIT system and contribute to the extent possible. I'm very proud of how these institutions have consistently upheld the charter and the reputation that they started with, and it's still going on. With the expansion to 23 IITs, we stand on the brink of making an even greater impact in the world, especially on India's development. Our collective mission is to drive the vision of Viksit Bharat with a strong focus on Make in India initiative. The rise of the startup system in India, many led by IIT Alumni, and the latest one you must have heard, Ola Electric has got an IPO and it's booming, is transforming the lives of millions in the country. The IITs, in addition to excellent teaching and research, provided a very good platform for entrepreneurship and the startup culture. It is our joint responsibility of the alumni to ensure, along with, of course, the IIT system, to ensure that IITs continue to be the beacons of excellence in higher technical education in India as well as globally. I would like to just mention that my journey through the IIT system, especially when I became, of course, I was not married when I was in Kanpur, but in Delhi and Bombay, my wife Rashmi, who is here, played a very important role in starting to teach the underprivileged children who were living around the campus. So when I was at IIT Delhi, she started in IIT Delhi, then Bombay, she expanded it there. Then I moved to Bangalore, so she started in Bangalore. So I'm not moving anymore because 3 metropolitan cities have this NGO called Vidya Integrated Development for Youth and Adults. And in addition, she provided all the support that one needed to be a faculty member and later on as director. So thank you to Rashmi, and thank you to Governor Jaitly for electing me on this.
And now we have our IPS officer, R. Shri Kumar Ji, the Commissioner Police of Karnataka Police, the journey of a techie, your top cap. And next we have Achal Chaudhary Ji, who has come from Indore all the way. And by the way, all this media, etc., is through courtesy Achal Chaudhary Ji. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thanks, Commander Jaitly, for this opportunity to be mingling with such personalities. I just recall my parents. My father, working in the UPSC, said, no problem in going into USA, etc. You better take up the UPSC examination. So through engineering service, I landed in CPWD. He got me the civil service forms, so that since I was fed up with the CPWD, I attempted civil service and I landed in the police. Brand IIT in UP in 1975, I was asked to open the UP police computerization. As luck would have it, it didn't go through that time. Thanks to my wife, IAS officer, an engineer IAS officer of Karnataka, I got a shift here. And thanks to the governor, I wish he had been here. In the governor's role, I was made the DG also for the election. And then later the elected government came, and that time also continued as the DGP. And my only hope was that at least 2 modules of computerization will be implemented before I retired. So from 75 to 2009, tried computerization technical thing, nothing happened. So when I retired as the DGP, I wrote, what did I do as DGP? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And I do not know why I am here. But I must thank one thing. Karnataka gave me, my boy who was born as SP, he's here. And his son and wife are here. Son is the youngest participant. He's just about 6 months old and he's calling me. In Karnataka, the first Chief Justice of Karnataka, he became the first Central Vigilance Commissioner in 1965. And after that, the only officer from Karnataka who got as a member of the Central Vigilance Commission was me. So I'm very happy that Karnataka helped me, and thank you, Ranjini, for getting me to Karnataka. So my short point is, the best is yet to come. So Dr. Mishra, I'm thanking you for having an MOU with the government of Karnataka to implement technology. And that MOU is going to be expiring in 2024, 25. We have not done anything so far. So at this point of time, things, all the grand IITians are there, great IITians are there. We must have the MOU extended for another 5 years. And before 2030, we must achieve SDG 2030. And we must also achieve Viksit Bharat 2047. And most of us, till we are going to be here in this world, we should be able to contribute and take it forward. Thank you so much.
Achal Chaudhary ji. Achal ji has a huge group of institutions, Indore Public School Academy, IPSA, and he is an architect himself and doing a great job. If you happen to go to Indore, just give a call to him, he will make all arrangements for you. Thank you. Achal ji.
सर ने अभी जैसा मीन्स विद रिगार्ड्स टू मूर्ति सर, कृष्णन सर, मिश्रा जी, गोयल सर, and Commander Jaitly ji, and all the dignitaries sitting here, very good evening. सर ने जैसा अभी बोला कि क्यों मेरा नाम इसमें है, the same thing I can repeat. But I would like to mention one thing here. You're going to come up with 3-4 more books. One is on another 100 IITians, one is on women, and one is on the third one. The last one you mentioned was professors. So my request to you is what I am today is all because of my alma mater and my professors. So you please bring up the book on the professor at the earliest.
Done. We will do it.
Just a little about. By profession, I'm an architect. And I started my practice as an architect in Indore. Society gave me a lot. So we thought, why not give it back to the society? And that's what gave me an idea to come up with a school which is now basically from cradle to career. We have about 15,000 students and trying to do our bit in the help of the society. And Sarji, thank you very much once again for giving me this honor and this motivation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And now we have the ISRO man, Viparthi Adimurthy ji. He did his PhD from IIT Kanpur, another Kanpurian today here, Padma Shri Awardee, and a distinguished professor at Trivandrum now. He has come all the way from Trivandrum for this and see the various rockets in which his involvement has been there. And then with the students, great sir. Thank you, sir.
Most respected colleagues here, young and old, it's a great pleasure for me to be with you this afternoon. It's also our great pleasure to give to others what we have. I have 2 minutes and I will certainly give 1 minute to you quickly. And it is our collective responsibility of all of us to take the world forward. And I think we will all collectively, whatever we can do to our best is the important thing. Everyone equally should do their best in what they can do. Then the world will go forward. In future, we will not only live in India, we will live in other planets, etc. Such a day is coming, and that will happen when all people do their best to the best of this thing. It is not great to get the gold medal and be on the top. It is great to do your best and run for your best. And that is the message I give to all here, the young and the old and the dear respected great people. Thank you very much, and it's a great pleasure for me to be with you.
Thank you, sir. And now we have Professor Dipankar Banerjee. Dipankar Da, please. A professor at IIT Bangalore, ex-DRDO, ex-Chief Controller, and 74 batch from IIT Madras. Let's give a big hand clap. We are proud of the scientists, sir.
It's of course a tremendous honor to be here, and what a magnificent job, Commander Jaitly, especially because my name is in the book, right? Yes. I think Dr. Krishnan Nair and myself are probably the only two metallurgists in the book, and I must... Oh, there's one more? Okay. All right. Oh, yes. And I must tell you that I got metallurgy because my rank, as usual, was the lowest in the entrance exam, and so I had to take metallurgy. I wanted to do aeronautical engineering, but I moved from being a director of the Defense Metallurgical Research Laboratory to our headquarters in Delhi, and I was asked to coordinate all our aeronautics programs, the Tejas, airborne early warning programs, and so on. So fate has a strange way of giving you what you actually want at some point or the other. Something has been said, much has been said about the allure of the West, but I think my wife Usha sitting there will testify that there never was quite a allure in my case. I think IIT Madras, the Indian Institute of Science and the Defense Research and Development Organization provided all the creative and challenging environment and professional growth that I could hope for. And I'm grateful to these organizations and those who mentored me in them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now we have Ramanan sir, 81 batch, IIT Bombay. a transformative leader who blended technology, innovation and empathy. और ये देखिए मोदी जी के साथ ऐसा लग रहा है जैसे हाथ में हाथ डाल करके जा रहे हैं उनके साथ. Great. Welcome, sir. He is the man behind the Atal mission, innovation mission. Sorry.
Am I the last speaker?
Yes.
Respected people on the dais, respected distinguished people in the audience, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great honor, it's a privilege, and I feel very humbled to be part of this very august gathering. And my journey into IIT was providential. My parents came from a very small village near Trichy. They migrated to Bombay, just like many families did at that point in time. And my mother started working for an engineering firm, and she was a secretary to a boss who asked her on one fine day to get a form of IIT from a neighboring place where they were distributing the forms. So my mother asked him, "What is IIT?" And he said, "Oh, don't you know about IIT? And it is one of the best engineering colleges that one can get into." So she got a form for me too, and saying, "Why don't you apply?" Now, I was a guy who was very homebound, didn't want to go to IIT. I just wanted to be at home and go and do an MSc and so on and so forth. But my dad said, "Why are you not filling this form that your mother has so dearly brought to you?" And so I filled that form and got into IIT. Now, if there is one thing that humbles you more than anything else in the world, it is a life in IIT. For two reasons. One, you have the open book exam set up by professors who, you don't know how to answer any of those questions. And that is one part. And the second is you're surrounded by such a galaxy of brilliant people that you wonder what you're doing there. And so if there's one thing that taught me, it was humility. And so to my intense surprise, I would say, I thought Commander Jaitly has done a big mistake in including me in this top 100. But I gladly accept this mistake. And I feel very proud about it, having been in such an august gathering. There were three pioneering institutions I got the opportunity to become part of, and I would attribute everything because of IIT. The first one was I joined TCS in 1981 when it was a fledgling organization with less than about 500 people. What TCS taught me was the power of entrepreneurship, daring to go where no people have gone before, putting India on the global software map of the world, creating a knowledge economy from India, and impacting thousands and thousands of lives and pioneering an industry which has become a $350 billion IT/ITES industry today. The second pioneering institution that I got an opportunity to work, and that was because of TCS and the Tata Group, was the acquisition of CMC, Computer Maintenance Corporation of India. Those of you who are familiar, it was one of the first IT organizations set up by the country, by the government of India. And what was famous about, or what was great about CMC and what I learned most was the power of innovation for the masses. The computerization of the Indian Railways was done by CMC. The first computerization of a stock exchange online trading system, the BSC, was done by CMC. The first depository was set up by CMC. The first ports to be computerized was set up by CMC. And all of you are today using the Passport Seva Kendras. That was a combination of TCS and CMC. So for me, the power of innovation for the masses got taught to me by CMC. And as Providence would have it, this combination of TCS and CMC led me to my third entrepreneurial journey, where the government of India, the Atal Innovation Mission, was formed at the Niti Aayog. And the Prime Minister said, get somebody from the private sector who has an experience of the public sector. And I guess all of this came together, the dots got connected, and I got the opportunity to be the first mission director of the Atal Innovation Mission. Now, I just want to end with these two things. The Atal Innovation Mission's mission is, how do you create a culture of innovation across the country, a problem-solving, innovative mindset in the demographic dividend that we enjoy, so where 65% of our country is under 35 years old and 50% of our country is under 25 years old. How do you instill this problem-solving, innovative mindset so that we can become a nation of job creators, not just job seekers? And the second is to create an ecosystem of innovation that supports the best of the minds to be able to create startups. We are one of the fastest growing startup nations of the world over the last 7 years. We have grown more than 100,000 startups, more than 115 unicorns. But I think the challenges of India are immense. With 650,000 villages, with 715 districts, out of which 115 are called aspirational districts, which are at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of basic access to healthcare, education, clean drinking water, sanitation, waste management, and affordable housing. We have an opportunity and we have a responsibility to be able to bring relief to these masses of 1.4 billion people, but we enjoy this youthful energy of 65% of our people coursing through the nation. And so my suggestion to IIT, Pan IIT, and so on, is as I deal with the world of startups, we set up 10,000 tinkering labs in schools across the country to stimulate problem-solving, innovative thinking in school students between grade 6 to grade 12. The result is that you have a school in Thoothukudi in Salem, which is creating a girls' school with 8 standard students, creating IoT solar panel-based irrigation management system. That's the power of access of technology to young students to whom you give this chance. I think what is lacking today is mentorship. And if Pan IIT can set up a mentor for startups, the whole IIT community, which has this rich experience, intellectual capability, and industry experience and global experience, if you're able to bring it to bear to all the startups and the aspiring startups and the youth who want to create startups, we have a tremendous opportunity for putting India in as a leader anywhere in the world. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me today, and I look forward to interacting with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And now we seek Ashirwad from our chief guest, Professor G.S. Murthy ji. Let's give a big hand to him once again. Hello, check.
Respected people on the dais and off the dais. This is a unique gathering. I know every one of you are much informed than me and much experienced than me and much better placed in life than me. I know that. I would like to give you only 5 minutes time, 2 experiences I will tell you. It so happened I worked with Nanaji Deshmukh, Bharat Ratna. I think you might be knowing him, Nanaji Deshmukh. He once said, I was with him for 5 years after my retirement. He once said, what is your age, Murthy ji? At that time I was 64. He told, इतना है आसान से और 20 साल काम कर सकते हैं. Only social work. After retirement I have. And one more thing is, I will tell you the importance of service. Here Nalsar is there, National Law University. He was 2 times Vice Chancellor. He is my student-like man. He is from our university. He regards me as teacher. He is now. He told an example. One of his students got a beautiful job in corporate in such a way he sleeps only in airports and take bath in the airports and sleeps at the. There is no place, there is no time for him to take leisurely khana or spend some time with family also. But he is earning an enormous amount. Enormous amount. He's now, his example is there. If you want, I can get his number and name. I don't know now. Ultimately, his wife, and also she is also a graduate and working very well. Both of them decided to resign their jobs. And they're teaching in a small school, in a school only, here only. He's enjoying the teaching, enjoying the holidays, enjoying the weekends, and he's happy. And he is happy in serving the society. What is our life? So these two, I tell you, and in a way, we are used to do sometime some service or other, social service. From the beginning, we are trained, we are inspired by such people. My advice to this audience, I tell you, once a great man in Hyderabad, he worked as a DGP or something like that. He retired. And he said, once retired, every retired person is same. All the as long as bulb is working, it has its capacity. If it is fused, all the fused bulbs are same. That's the example he gave. But if with the experience you gained, if you do any small bit of work for the society without expecting anything, that is the need of the society. You all can do. You all can do. For example, we are inspired by N.S. Malik, Lieutenant General. He started this Youth for Nation. I am now National Coordinator, myself and General Chaturvedi. He initiated, and that time name was not given, Youth for Nation. We are working in the last 12 years. And we are going to youth. Our mission is youth. Reach the youth and tell something about national issues and make them nationalistic thinking fellows, thinking future citizens. Future citizen or future of India lies in the students, in the youth. So we are focusing and we are focused. And it's ultimately, Commander Jaitly also was with us last 12 years. And once we had in Jodhpur house, now Haryana house, we had a meeting of all those people who worked with us last 12 years. All of them are generals, admirals, and IAS officers, ambassadors, several people, professors, vice chancellors, half a dozen vice chancellors were there, 2-3 generals were there, 2-3 air marshals were there. All of them who worked with us last 12 years under the banner of no name is given at that time. Only in that time, Commander Jaitly was also there in Haryana Bhavan. About 60, 70 we gathered. We had a deep churning of things after COVID, what we should do, because there is no activity in the COVID. We should continue this because youth is a continuous process, just like a stream or a stream of a river. They will come and go, but you have to give something to the inputs. That is important. That's decided. And at that time, the name Youth for Nation was given. Perhaps Jaitly ji floated, we don't know who he gave, but Youth for Nation was given that name, and now it is registered. And all over India, we are working in 22 states. And General Chaturvedi and Commander Jaitly, one of the national coordinators. There are 6 coordinators. Okay. So, I'm concluding now because I think 5 minutes are over. And my advice to all the people is particularly to go to schools and tell them your experiences. That is enough. For example, who is it telling? India developed a helicopter which is unique in the universe, in the whole of the world. that things also will inspire them. That's an inspiration, that's an information. So we have to keep the youth always prepared for it. And our rishis and munis have done this and doing this even now. Even Vivekananda, 150 years back he was. He still remembered, he is still an icon of the youth. Why? So several such people are working and working. That is the keeping to continuity of this Sanatan. Sanatan, at one time I used to feel, it is all outmoded philosophy. What is this? No. Sanatan is ancient most, everlasting and ever new. Everlasting and ever new. We're all Sanatanis, we're all IIT graduates and IIT professors and all that. We have done several jobs, contributed several things in the development. We never lost our basic character of Sanatan. Sanatan definition, let us go it. I don't give that Sanatan is only to temples and all that. Not necessary. As we said, Rashtra Sarvopari, nation first. With this approach, you do any good thing without expecting anything in return. Then things will go. And that is my prayer. This is my suggestion to young people. That is my prayer to people, all the people. You will get real satisfaction, draw the real satisfaction of the life. If you do this, go to college, a school, once in a week, every school, 10th class, 8th class, 9th class, tell them in their language what is happening in this country, what they should do. And you give from example from your life. That will help. Okay, thank you all. Actually, this is an opportunity given by... Namaste.
Thank you, sir, for the message of Rashtra Sarvopari, nation first. And now we go to vote of thanks. Padma.
Photograph?
Pehले vote of thanks. Please invite.
May I now request the man who made it possible to publish this book in such a seamless, beautiful and excellent get-up that everyone who looks at the book and reads get inspired. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shri Sanjay Kumar Ji, the publisher of the book and the chairperson of the Publishing Excel Publish India Publishers, for vote of thanks.
And before you start vote of thanks, let me honor you all.
So,
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sanjay from Excel India Publishers. I am here to propose the vote of thanks. At the very outset, I would like to thank the Governor who has not been able to come here due to health reason. He had agreed to felicitate all the IITians who made the country see eye to eye with the developed worlds today. Due to them, we are here, where rather than the ridicule, now we are respected. I thank Professor Rishikesha Krishna for agreeing to be the guest of honor for this event. And I also thank Murthy sir for taking the place of the chief guest when we were in crisis. My first thank goes to the IIT system. This system has produced stalwarts of technology with limited resources then. Now we have all kinds of resources. Then we didn't have. I also thank the IITians featured and recognized in this book. They are the reasons that we are here today. I thank the family members of all the great IITians who have been present here and who have been watching elsewhere online. Next, I thank Commander Jaitly. Commander Jaitly, he took pains and went through the whole process of contacting, interacting, selecting, and then the whole process began, which took almost more than 4 years directly, although he had been working for a decade. So, His Excellence Guru, and he has now, he gave the chance to Excel India publishers to get into this excellent system. And I thank him for all the reasons that he has given me to be here. I would like to thank Admiral Bhatia sir, Ashok Misra sir, OP Khanna sir, Dhananjay sir, who spent their time interacting with the Raj Bhavan to get the governor here. Unfortunately, we do not have him here, and we wish him speedy recovery. My thanks are also to the Raj Bhavan Secretariat in general and ADCs in particular, who helped us understand the protocols and the systems. My thanks are to the core organizing team, which not only guided us but helped us with every small details. I would like to specially mention Satish Manocha sir, Muthuraman sir, who helped us with invite some very important names assembled here. And Satish Manocha sir, ever since he came to know about the book, we have talked on many occasions, and he has been guiding me through all processes and the hard work that has gone into building the country what it is today. My thanks are also to the staff at IIT Alumni Center Bangalore, our local host, who provided all local operational and logistical support wholeheartedly. They are here manning the counters. We had been to their center, and it's a wonderful place that we have been there. I thank the whole local and national media, including the IPS Academy of IITians, Shri Achal Chaudhary ji, who deputed his team led by Shri Sandeep Gupta. They took upon themselves to let the world know that this book, The Great IITians, is a great effort towards recognizing the stalwarts of IITs who made us proud. My thanks are to Ms. Saraswati and her team at BIC, who gave her all support for organizing this event. We thank the buyers of this book who have been buying to support the social cause. Many of them are buying in bulk to give to their near and dear ones and to their business associates who visit them. At the end, let me thank my team at Excel India Publishers, New Delhi, who toiled for years while bookmaking was in process, who had to ensure that no compromise in quality was acceptable. They knew that we need to meet the IIT standards of excellence, and channel of our great IITian Jaitly ji is one excellence guru. Excel India Publishers incidentally has been the truly Make in India publisher of research papers, publications in the field dominated by foreign publishers. For almost 2 decades, we have been associated with publishing research papers for all kinds of academic conferences, including IITs, NITs, IIMs, ICR, and many other research organizations across the country. Group Excel India also helped making the book available to all who featured in the book and also who wanted to buy for social cause from any part of the country and the world. We are making the book available in the shortest possible time. Thank you. Thanks for being present in this wonderful function.
And let me add thanks to Sakshi and Captain Madhusudan ji. They did a really great job. So thank you very much. Gentlemen, no meet, no greet without eat. So Bahar high tea is waiting. But all those who have been honored, please once come on the stage. We'll have a group photograph. All those who have been honored, please come on the stage once. And the others, gentlemen, please join for the high tea.